Linda.
Good morning. Welcome to Mental Toughness Monday. And we are going to start out with our emotional healing and essential oils book. And the oil is balance. All right. And my glasses are here. Balance is a primary combination of tree oils and roots. Trees live in the present moment. They're not in a hurry, they're stable. The soft energy of balance is excellent for calming overactive children who have difficulty settling down. It's also a wonderful remedy for those who need to reconnect with their roots. Balance strengthens the connection with the lower body and with the earth. These connections are especially important when the upper faculties have been overused due to excessive thinking, speaking, or spiritual activity. Balance is especially suited for personalities who seek to escape life through disconnection or disassociation. These individuals may avoid long term commitments in work or relationships, preferring instead to drift. This blend reminds individuals that to realize their true dreams and desires, they must stay focused on a goal until it is actualized in the physical world. Balance teaches true perseverance by assisting in staying present with a specific plan or idea until it is embodied. Providing inner strength and fortitude, balance teaches all to ground their energy and to manifest their vision with the patience of a tree. There you go. I definitely need this. All right, so you put some in your hands. You can smell it straight from the bottle. Or you can put a drop or two. I think I got three in your hands, rub them together, breathe it in, put some on the back of your neck, on the front, put it on your collarbones where you can breathe it. Keep breathing it. It smells really good. I love it. All right. What are some of your thoughts about balance?
It was it's the first oil I ever had a great love affair with. I still use it every day. It's an amazing oil. If I had to choose just one, it would be hard to do, but balance would be a contender.
Right? I love that. Yes, balance is fantastic. Any other thoughts about balance?
I'm just looking at the apply to the base of the spine and the bottoms of the feet. And I remember we talked about putting it on babies when they're learning to walk and they hate their shoes.
Well, that's cute. That's fun. Hey, can you close this door?
I use balance every day also to ground me and get me going. It just makes me feel more positive.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I love that. I think, Dad, you told me that you use it as aftershave. Is that still the case?
Did you use it today as aftershave?
I've shaved.
Oh, he will.
I didn't think I said today. I thought I said, Dad, you told me
What else did you hear?
in the past. Maybe I said today.
He didn't say today, but I was just checking with him.
You don't need to go shave, Dad. You're good.
He can't hear from over there across the room.
Oh, well, that's fun to see you both together.
It's Valentine week. We ought to sit beside each other, right?
Right? Aw, that's sweet. Okay. Let's talk about some of the emotions that it supports with. Negative emotions, scattered or ungrounded, disconnected or unstable, and positive properties are grounded, stable, connected, committed, self-contained, meaning good boundaries, inner strength, and persevering or determined. So those are some great ones. And I love balance. We could definitely use even more of it, right? Really, really a good one. All right. Well, thank you for your thoughts about balance and its grounding. This is actually the first oil that I was introduced to at all when I walked into a room full of business women who were there for some presentation at I don't even know who was presenting what, and I can't remember. Oh, Tim found it in the um he saw a notification or something for this meeting for business women. And he was like, go to this meeting. And so I went, but I was late. I was really late. And I was frustrated with myself. And I sat outside the bank. It was at the Bank of American Fork in American Fork, actually. And I sat outside the bank and I put my head on the steering wheel because I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But I had driven because American Fork is like 30 minutes away. And so I was like, well, you might as well go in. And even though I was like so late, I was just like horribly, horribly embarrassed and kind of horrified. Anyway, but I went in and Natalie Goddard was, I think it was her that had me sit down and brought me my lunch because it was a luncheon. And then I listened to whatever they said. And then afterwards, she came up to me and started talking to me, but she looked at me. She had a bottle of balance in her hand with the lid off. All right, like this. She looked at me kind of like, what? And she went like this with her bottle. And then she just like reached up and just like put it right across my forehead. And in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry, which I immediately stopped because like I was not gonna cry. But but I had that feeling, this feeling of like these will change your life. And I knew I had to know more about essential oils. And that really has changed my life. And it's been such a huge blessing. And because of that experience for me, and then my willingness to share with my family, I think almost everybody here live on the call came as a result of my family reaching out and blessing other people with it. So keep doing that because it totally blesses people and it's still blessing people. And even all these years later, I'm feeling lots of blessings from it. Okay, let's move on to our actual mental toughness part 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. We are on number 62, I believe. The world class is obsessed with their goals. Here we go. Average performers set their goals on New Year's Eve and don't look at them again until the next New Year's Eve. There you go. The world class is in a constant goal setting mode. Champions are goal setting machines. They know the cornerstone of all achievement is mental clarity. Professional performers are evolving so rapidly, they usually find it necessary to review and sometimes reset their goals on a daily basis. One of the secrets of their success is this daily exposure to their goals. Only 3% of Americans have clearly defined written goals, and less than 1% can identify their primary goal and objective in life. This attention to detail gives the great ones an incredible advantage over their middle class counterparts. As average performers begin to forget what their goals are because of a lack of exposure to them, the pros are embedding their goals deep into their subconscious minds every day. Their minds are like guided missiles, always adjusting and correcting to maintain accuracy toward the target. Champions have a singleness of purpose that most people will never take the time to discover. And this thought process allows them to climb higher every day. All right. There's a quote from Napoleon Hill. He says, "There's one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it." Okay. So when I first read that from Napoleon Hill, I actually read it and I thought about it and I was like, what is my definiteness of purpose? And at the time I was going through a divorce and I had four little kids and I was really busy and I needed money like so bad because, I was trying to hold it all together. And I remember reading that about the definiteness of purpose and just being like, oh, yeah, this is why you suck because you can't think of any purpose. You're always just so busy doing all the things, all the other things. Then one day it dawned on me that my definiteness of purpose was that I really wanted to be there for those kids. And I look back at my life since I had kids, and I realized that everything, every decision that I'd made, even every job that I had had, ultimately I would work myself out of a job because I was really good at it. I was really efficient. I'd put systems into place and then my boss would be like, I don't really need you. So, which was great because I didn't want a job. I wanted to go home and be with my kids. And the hard part was that they didn't pay me as a consultant. They paid me as an hourly employee and I did all the stuff, but then I had nothing to live on in between. And so that was that was rough, but it was really eye-opening for me when I realized that I actually could reach my goals because if I understood my purpose, my definiteness of purpose, I could see that I was reaching that goal all the time. Like that's ended up being, what I did. And then even with doTERRA, when I was introduced to doTERRA, still my definiteness of purpose goal was to be able to have time with my family, and that's what doTERRA did for me, was just opened up the doors for me to be able to spend not that much time away from my family, comparatively speaking, after having worked a lot of jobs that did take me away from my family, and yet still have a really good full-time income with extremely part-time work. Um, anyway, definiteness of purpose. What are your thoughts?
We all have an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of other people. I remember years ago, I was a scoutmaster and I had a big troop. I had 26 boys in the troop, and we went to a regional retreat. And in the middle of the night, some of my group who I was not with, I was in another part of the lodge, decided to get rowdy. And they got up and they did something very inappropriate. Uh, it was after midnight and everybody was asleep, but they thought they'd do it anyway. They decided to moon their buddies, and and someone put a spotlight on it. And it came to my attention the next day, and I thought, well, boys will be boys, but something deeper came. I said, how am I going to handle this? And I got the guys that were offenders, and I said, guys, I know you think that was funny, but I want you to set some goals. Is this the kind of men you want to be? And that was the start of a great turnaround. 22 of those 26 boys became Eagle Scouts because they set some goals to do something worthwhile. We can make a difference with goals, not only for ourselves, but for those that we might have an influence with. And I thought I might share that today.
I love it. That's so powerful. And I'm sure it did change the trajectory of those boys' lives too. Any other thoughts about goals? Some people think goals is a four-letter word. I mean, goal.
Isn't there some quote about like if you don't know where you're going,
Yeah, the
Amazing.
Cheshire Cat, right?
Oh, does
It
he say
doesn't,
that?
it doesn't really much matter. I don't remember the quote exactly, but yeah, if you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter which way you go, right?
Right, right. And like for me, especially like if I don't have in mind where I'm headed, I am all over the place. All over the
Yeah.
place. So yeah, I need to go.
Yes, I love that. I liked also that they said um that their champions are looking at their goals all the time. They're looking, and that exposure to their goals is what gives them that edge, is because they're always looking at it. They're always figuring out what they have to do for the next um the next step to help them get there. All right. Any other thoughts about goals? I can read you the action step and the resource. The resource is Read Goals: How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You Ever Thought Possible by Brian Tracy. This book takes a no nonsense, no holds barred approach to setting world class goals. And then our action step for today is list your 10 major goals for this year. Every morning when you wake up, this habit will ingrain your major goals into your psyche. This is one of the most important habits you can develop en route to a world-class mindset. And the ten goals, they can be anything. But with our MIT's most important things with Elisa's 4-week win, there's four for the day. But if you wanted to list out your 10, I love that with the four that she kind of breaks them out into mental, physical, spiritual, and um I don't know if I can't remember if she does mental and emotional is the same thing,
I think
or what,
mental and
because some of
emotional.
them kind of overlap. What's that? She does.
I think you're right. They're together, mental and emotional.
Yeah, but there are some great, goal setting with like 10 different areas. And I know Life Book with John Butcher has some really, really good ones where, there's different ones around your family or around just relationships in general. If it's not your family, maybe it's your friends, or if you want to have goals around obviously your career and your business, and also maybe around your spiritual life or around your intellectual life, right? So these are some areas where you can look at what is something I want to learn, or what's something I want to get better at, or whatever, and just like give yourself a goal for the year and then back it down to what do I need to do? How far would I need to be on that goal? And you don't have to be like, the year started, a month, 5 weeks ago or whatever. So now I'm 5 weeks late. You can start right where you are and just be like, this time next year, these are kind of the things that I want to have. One thing I really enjoyed about the Life Book program, and I don't know if that's a program that's still available or not, but I'll just give you this tip because it's very helpful, is that each month you're focused on a different thing. So you're putting habits into place, and each month is a different topic, and you can decide what those are. You don't have to follow anything specific, but if you wrote down 10 areas of your life or even 10 goals, maybe some of them are, maybe if you look at the balance of your life, you feel like one area needs a lot more attention than maybe another area does. And so maybe you have some smaller goals in some areas where you feel like you've, done pretty well, and some bigger goals in areas where you want to see more change. And maybe a lot of those goals go kind of grouped together. But the idea of creating that list of the ten goals that you have, and then writing that list every day, I kind of love this just from the standpoint of like remembering, because that's a big trick, right? It's to remember, what are my goals this year? What am I supposed to be working on? I can't remember, right? Because day to day stuff comes into your life that you have to process and that you have to work through and that you have to do. And, it gets kind of never ending. But if you have that in your mind of what your objective is, and you've backed it up to like, where should I be by 6 months in? Where should I be by 90 days from now? That kind of thing, where you give yourself some milestones. You're more likely to hit your goal in a year's time if you have some milestones along the way. But also, even if you don't hit that goal in a year's time, you are going to be a lot farther along with it because you've given yourself some milestones. And I like to also, not only with the weekly, or sorry, the annual, and then having some like maybe quarterly milestones, but then I like to look at like, how much of this do I need to get done this month? And then how much of it do I need to take care of this week? And then I can put it in my schedule of like what I'm doing this week that's going to help me to progress toward what I feel like I need to get done this month in order to be ready for, hitting that milestone by the quarter. So I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Where you're just kind of reverse
It reminds,
engineering it a little.
reminds me of Jeff Olson's The Slight Edge. By an inch, it's a cinch. By a yard, it's hard. Do a little bit each day. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do.
Yes. Yeah. And that is really the basis also of the habits with the 4-week win and the sassy habits, that we've put into place, and that we are encouraging others to put into place, is that idea of by the inch it's a cinch. I love that. Thank you, Dad, for reminding me of that. Okay, any other thoughts before we wrap it up? Did I read the action step? Oh yeah, that's the 10. Write down your 10 goals for the year every morning. Who's in? Who wants to do that? I want to do that. Yeah, me too. I might have to look at my list after I make it, right? So, okay. Well, thank you for being here. And yay, Mary's in too, she said in the chat. So thank you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all your participation. And we will chat again very soon.